all the podcasts I've done in person with other people, like I go to their studio and record, my relationships with those people are much stronger versus the ones I've done online.
All right, so we're going to talk about why in-person podcasts crush online podcasts. So recently, some context here, Neil and I recorded for the first time actually in 3 years in person because we've been gone for so long. Neil moved to Vegas, I moved to Miami, and now I'm back in LA, and who knows where he's going to be in the next couple of years. But point being, he was in town and we got some great editing help, we'll put it that way. And we wanted to share some thoughts around this.
Yeah, what Eric means by online versus in person is instead of us just recording like we are right now, I'm in Brazil right now, he's in LA, we're on Riverside.fm and we're just recording. He's talking about, I went to Eric's house, we had a crew there that was recording us for both audio and video, and we were just shooting the shit for probably 2 hours and just recording podcast episodes and having fun. Eric, why do you think in person does better than online, other than the fact that when it's in person, you can riff off of each other's emotions or body language or energy?
I think the big thing, so I'll tell you this, if you look at my IG, usually my reels don't perform that. And when I've been uploading the clips from this one, because our energy is so natural, right? It was the storytelling that came from you and me was like way better. And I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because we're together, but it was fun. Like we're enjoying each other's company. And I guess you can feel that energy permeating out. But if I had to pick one thing, to me, it's very crystal clear that our storytelling was just better.
Yeah, it's easier to riff off of each other when you're in person than and versus doing it on the internet. The other thing too is a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you can talk about trends and the latest things. You can do that if you're recording online as well. But the big thing is that it's just a different type of recording and energy. It's hard for me to explain, but just the feeling is just like doing something live creates a totally different output than doing it online. And maybe it's just Zoom fatigue that a lot of us feel, or even me. Like I'm in Brazil. I've literally spoken, this is Friday that we're recording it. I spoke Thursday in Brazil. I spoke Wednesday in Brazil. I spoke Tuesday in Toronto. And I spoke Monday in Toronto. 4 days of speaking. You get burnt out, especially when you're starting to do more things online. It's just like you get that Zoom fatigue or that conference calling fatigue. But when I speak in person, even if it was those 4 days, it was exhausting. But my energy in person, when people are in front of me and I'm interacting with them, is totally night and day different. And it's the same with Eric. I've seen him online because we've done tons of these recordings versus in person where we're both on stage. Like we're going to be at HubSpot's inbound event this year. It's just a totally different vibe.
Yep. Yeah. We've done it a couple times this year. We're together at Affiliate World Dubai. We're next to each other, HubSpot as well. And then we had SaaS Open this year where we're back to back. And you feed off the crowd's energy, you feed off of each other's energy, and then you end up having a better performance, and you end up actually affecting people's lives, and you build real relationships. And so it actually gives us a chance when Neil and I are hanging out, or whoever I end up doing a live podcast with. I'm going to do one with Peter Diamandis. We're going to have him on this pod, Sophia Amoruso. The point here is that you're building deeper relationships with people. And that to me is the gold. And that's why I've been podcasting for over 10 years. It's because you build these lifelong friendships, and it's these people that you're targeting that are like-minded, and it's way easier to have conversations with these types of people. So that's another side benefit that happens with it.
You actually bring up a good point. All the podcasts I've done in person with other people, like I go to their studio and record, my relationships with those people are much stronger versus the ones I've done online. And I know this is going to sound a little bit bad, but I've done so many of these online podcast recordings because I'm not talking about you and I, just like other people request me to be on their podcast. I probably do 3 or 4 a week where it blends in and people are like, oh, thanks for getting my podcast. And I'm so grateful for people inviting me on my podcast, but sometimes it's hard for me to remember. The ones I do in person, I tend to remember all those individuals, their name, what they do, and my relationships with them is much deeper.
Yeah, it's an ordeal. And plus, like when you're hanging out, like if I'm talking to you, it's, oh, like, what are your challenges? Like we're always just trying to help each other out.
Yes.
It's with anybody that you're with. It's like, how can I help? How can I help? The final thing I'll say from my side is I literally, instead of watching like Netflix stuff, I actually watch full interviews with people just sitting down next to each other. So I just watched this Tim Ferriss one. He was on a show called Colin and Samir. It was a 2 hour or 2.5 hour interview. I watched it on 1X, And every time I eat lunch, I'll just watch a chunk of it, watch a chunk of it. I went through the whole thing. Right now, the next one I'm getting through is a Mr. Beast on the Colin and Samir podcast, and it's a 2-hour thing. And I'm okay watching that, but I am not so much okay with watching two Zooms. And that's just my behavior. I don't know about you, Neil.
Yeah, no, I'm very similar to you.
Yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Do more in person if you can. We're not saying it's one or the other. We're saying it's and. So don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, please. 5 stars. It helps us grow, and we'll see you tomorrow.